On 28th February, Israel attacked Iran when nobody was expecting it. Trump joined in, and Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, was killed in the first try. The world was told that the goal of the Israelis and Americans was to emancipate poor Iranians living under the iron-fisted rule of the Khamenei regime. But was it? Or was that true but only partially? Was igniting a war among the Muslim nations the real goal of Israel? A column written recently by Prince Turki Al Faisal, someone who knows what's really at play, may complete that picture. The prince has claimed that Israel's real plan was to instigate a war between the Gulf states and Iran. A war which was supposed to lead to the destruction of both sides. To the extent that in the aftermath, Israel would have remained the only big power in the region, while others lay battered and bruised. I'm Abhishek Singh. Let's now examine what's been the subject of multiple conspiracy theories but has rarely been articulated by a credible voice before. Look at this map. This is West Asia. In the words of multiple military strategists and experts, the theatre of the biggest war since World War II. Strange word, at least in the context of a war, theatre. Because unlike theatre, those who have died since the war began on 28th February this year aren't faceless extras cast on a green screen. Those were real people. According to various sources, so far more than 5,000 have been killed in this war. In the list of dead, 254 children, and over 30,000 were injured. But who put this theatre together? Or rather, who wants to blow it to smithereens? And what's the end goal of the powers pulling the strings? Multiple experts have claimed it is this man, Benjamin Netanyahu, the real mastermind, the playwright, also the Prime Minister of Israel. And in this column, written by Prince Turki Al Faisal, a not so often mentioned but still quite significant actor in this theatre, he has exposed the real goal of Netanyahu and Israel. The prince is no small fish. He should know what he's talking about. Perhaps the script at play in the West Asian theatre in its entirety. Unlike, of course, the rest of us, who as witnesses can at best watch the theatre of death unfold. But who's Prince Turki Al Faisal? Prince Turki Al Faisal is the youngest son of King Faisal, one of Saudi Arabia's most famous kings, grandson of the kingdom's founder, King Abdulaziz. But he isn't the current king and will never be. So what might he know? Here's what you need to know about him. Prince Faisal was the Director General of Saudi Arabia's General Intelligence Directorate, Al-Makhbarat Al-Amma, from 1977 to 2001, a remarkable 23-year tenure. The man collected and used intelligence using all sorts of means for 23 years straight, an ambassador to multiple countries, a royal, and someone who played a crucial role in coordinating Saudi support for the Afghan Mujahideen during the Soviet-Afghan War, and managed sensitive intelligence relationships with the US and other Western powers. In other words, I'm trying to tell you that the man certainly knows how to gather information that most will never come across. Interesting trivia about him, he resigned from his position as the man leading Saudi intelligence on September 1st, 2001, just 10 days before the 9/11 attacks. And as came to be known later, 15 of the 19 hijackers on 9/11 were Saudi nationals. Let me now quote from his column. The prince claims, and I quote, "Had the Israeli plan to ignite war between us and Iran succeeded, the region would have been plunged into ruin and destruction. Thousands of our sons and daughters would have been lost in a battle in which we had no stake. Israel would have succeeded in imposing its will on the region and remained the only actor in our surroundings." Interestingly, his column is titled, "This is how Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman succeeded." But more on that later. About Iran, the prince wrote, and I quote, "When Iran and others tried to drag the kingdom into the furnace of destruction, our leadership chose to endure the pains caused by a neighbor in order to protect the lives and property of its citizens. Had the kingdom wanted, and it's capable of doing so, to respond in kind to Iran by destroying Iranian facilities and interests, the outcome could have been the destruction of Saudi oil facilities and desalination plants along the Arabian Gulf Coast and even deep inside the kingdom." Now, there are a lot of things that the prince has said in his rather rhetorical column, addressing anybody and everybody from the major actors in this theatre and beyond. For instance, as the title of the column suggests, it is clearly an attempt to paint MBS, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, as a serious, deft and successful leader, fit to lead the Saudis, just in case the Saudi population was developing any doubts about why his government stayed silent as Iran bombed the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It could also be an attempt to indicate to the larger Muslim Ummah, or Muslims across the world, that contrary to what many have asserted, that the Saudis were quietly backing the war in Iran was a myth, laying the blame of any divide in the Muslim world squarely on Iran, when, as he says, and I quote, the Crown Prince did not allow Iran to divide the brotherly Gulf states. Or perhaps this could even be an attempt to redirect some of the sympathy of the Muslims for Iran to Saudi Arabia because his column could be interpreted to read that it was as much a war on Saudi Arabia as it was on Iran. Or he could be saying all of this because the war clearly did not turn out as the US, Israel, and perhaps even Saudi Arabia, which hasn't exactly been friends with Iran, thought. And now is repositioning Saudi Arabia as a country which ended on the winning side, strategically speaking, by saying despite provocations, they did not attack Iran, just absorbed the hits. What's clear, however, is the duplicity in this theater. Whether it is regarding the whole truth behind why the war was started and what the ultimate goal was, what's interesting is that while distancing MBS and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia from Israel and the US, Prince Turki Al Faisal seems to have taken the liberty to hint that those two are the more serious strategic threats, while defining Iran as a painful neighbor. In essence, all three, Israel, US, Iran, may have tried to engineer the kingdom and the region's destruction, but MBS succeeded in avoiding that fate, almost sounding like a victim, which is ironic given the US bases in the kingdom.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.